Hi betting experts, and now we're going to have a look at Sunday's Prix de Triomphe at Paris Longchamp, one of the great flat races of the whole season. Extremely valuable, terrific prize money. It ties together, as usual, all the form lines across the generations and across the continents. It's a cracking contest this year. The market focuses around love and enable. Hopefully we found a bit of value away from the obvious with a 16-1 value bet. But first of all, let's have a look at 5 suggestions when betting on the arc. First of all, the impact of the draw. Now, although the effect of the draw is usually more relevant in sprint contests on the flat, it can still have a huge bearing over middle distances, particularly in big fields at Paris Longchamp. Traditionally, most people think a low draw is a slight advantage in the Prix de Triomphe, with the majority of winners since the year 2000 drawn in single figures. Basically, this can be explained by getting a good early pitch against the rail, handy, rather than being drawn out wide, having to be rushed up to get a prominent position and using up vital early energy. You either do that or you have to be dropped right out and ridden for luck, and traditionally it's not an easy place to come from miles off the pace. If you watch back last year's renewal, there's no doubt that in really bad ground, Enable, who was bidding for a historic third win in the race, did far too much too soon, sweeping clear on really deep ground and pegged by Waldergeist late on. The second point to remember is jockey experience. Siding with experienced jockeys can pay dividends in this Group 1 race. It's usually a big field, and jockeys like Dettori and Sumion have decades of race riding experience and knowledge that can count for plenty when split-second decision making is called for. The only one negative about this theory is the market, which is a PMU market, basically the French tote, can often overreact to a big name jockey being on board. The ground, number 3, well, this year it looks like at the moment good to soft, but there is plenty of weather around. John Gosden was interviewed early in the week and was saying that he thought it was on the faster side of good, really. His men in Paris had been telling him. But I think by the time we get to the off, given the forecast, I'm expecting it to be on the easy side of good. It certainly won't be as bad as 2019, when the unconsidered mudlark Waldergeist revelled in the atrocious conditions, coming from miles back with a storming run at a big price to shock punters who'd lumped on Enable to complete that historic treble. But it's worth watching the earlier race in the afternoon to see how the track is riding, and certain runners will prefer better ground to be seen at their best, like Enable, and Love for that matter. While easier ground would favour strong stayers like Stradivarius. Point 4, bookmaker offers. As with all these major races, bookmakers are very keen to attract your turnover into their markets. It's a red hot competitive race. They want to take your money, so look around, take the best prices as usual, look out for enhanced place terms if you want to play each way. Plenty of layers will be offering 4, 5 or 6 places on the arc. Also, if you're going to back something away from the obvious you don't consider to be a public horse like Enable or Love, the bigger prices can be huge prices on the PMU, and that's point 5. Check the PMU odds, they're constantly updated. It's much more competitive and vibrant than the UK equivalent, and there can be some fantastic value. The liquidity on Arc Day at Longchamp is the best of the whole year for tote bettors, and especially if you want to put some big price horses in forecasts or trifectas, etc., there can be some huge value away from the obvious. Now, moving on to have a look at our value tip in the race. I do like John Gosden's stayer Stradivarius. I know he was beaten in his trial at a short price, but that was a farce of a race where they crawled. He's better known as a 2 mile 4 champion stayer with a brilliant strike rate. He's won an amazing percentage of his races. He's been in better than ever form this year. Every drop of rain that falls will be in his favour, and I can just see him being ridden cold out the back off a really strong pace and coming through late, and I certainly think he's overpriced at 16-1 at the moment. For our best bets on the arc, have a look at the Betting Expert pages, where we've got a full and comprehensive preview along with some terrific bookmaker offers. Best of luck in the Prix de Triomphe, Betting Experts.